How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think
How
like
many
an
of you are
attacker
prepared
so
for
you
an
can
incident
truly
like this?
defend yourself.
Get my new...
Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.
My name is Jonathan Gillum. And this is The Experts.
This is Jonathan Gillum, and this is The Experts on Facebook Live, Twitter, and YouTube. And tonight, you know what? I'm not even going to go into a rant tonight. I'll do it later, because I got some special guests that are going to be on here with me. You can see them right here. And, you know, I keep wanting to, I don't know why, ever since they came out, I've always wanted to call them Diamond and Lace. I don't know why. Instead of Diamond and Silk. I don't get it. That's my own brain and how it works. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Let me turn this music down, and we're going to go ahead and get started with them. And I just can't, I got to say that I am so happy to have you all on here. First off, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. All right, so I know you guys have a limited amount of time tonight, and I hope to get you back again. But I got to tell you, this is probably, I'm more excited about this one than when Ted Nugent was going to be on.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You all came on the stage, the world stage, really. And I guess the first question I have for you: did you expect that to happen the way it happened?
No. We was looking for none of this here.
Yeah.
It was just like everything just happened authentically. It was just bam, bam, bam.
I think that was the thing, though, that it was authentic and it was real, and
authentically.
And that's what's great about you guys. I think that was the thing. Hold on a second. Okay, that's what's great about you guys, because you are authentic.
Oh, yes.
Yes. We try to be real with everything that we say, with everything that we think.
That's right.
With everything that we feel. We talk about what we feel and how we feel about things, and that's how all of this here happened.
And we basically tell it from a common sense approach.
Right.
That's something that's lacking here in America, because everybody want to be political correct. But with Diamond and Silk, all we know to do is to just tell it straightforward. Just tell the naked, nasty truth.
That's right.
But see, that's why Donald Trump got big, was because he just told the truth. That's what I do on this show. I want to ask you all this, because I don't see color. I've never been a person. I was raised in a family where color was not something that, we grew up poor. That's what we knew. We knew poverty. And poverty doesn't know color. It doesn't know sexuality. It doesn't know gender. But my question is, are there people that, deem themselves minorities in this country, and we've all been told that, you're either black or you're white, you're a man, you're a woman. We've been so divided. Do you think that, because if you watch the news, you're not going to get this, do you think that people in the United States are starting to realize that we're all being played by these politicians in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
By the politicians and the media. People are starting to wake up. We receive tons of emails from people. Listen, I used to be a Democrat, but I will be voting for Donald Trump if he run again.
Right.
Or I voted for Donald Trump, and guess what? I'm black. So we get people where they're waking up, they're seeing how we're being played, like you said, from the politicians, from the media, and they're sick and tired of it. And you can tell that they're tired of it, because look, did nobody watch the Emmys last night?
Right.
Nobody watched.
That is absolutely right. And the stuff that they were saying on there is so ridiculous and out of touch. It's gotten to a point where it's almost psychopathic. You got Hillary Clinton coming on and saying that she wants some kind of investigation done on the election. You got Chelsea Manning, a.k.a. Bradley Manning, who got paid for a sex change by the United States taxpayers, got let out of jail early by Obama, and now is going on a world tour, it seems like, talking about how she didn't do anything wrong. It's like a mass psychopathic, narcissistic left.
Well, yeah, and they're trying to make us all go mad too and move us all to the left, and it's not working.
It's not
Even
working.
people on the left is tired of it. We see how the left wing is really disrespecting the man that holds the Oval Office, that won fair and square. When we look at Hillary Clinton and we call her Crooked Hillary, how now she want to say that this here presidency was not legitimate, and come out and say things of that, and we'll say allegedly, just in case I didn't say it right. It's just, it's maddening. It's crazy.
Right.
It's crazy of the things that they will pull, and that lets you know they were really trying to push something undercoverly in this country, and it didn't work, because guess what? We elected Donald Trump.
That's right.
We elected the businessman, someone that we knew that had the master plan that really can make America great again.
That's right.
So let me ask you right along with that, and there's been rumors, I don't know the reality of this, but I've felt it myself, this censoring in social media, because along with President Trump, what's happened is over the past, I don't know, maybe really since this election, it's the first election with real social media. They had it last time Barack Obama was elected, but this time people like yourselves, myself, we've learned to use this to circumvent media. Were you all censored on YouTube? Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. All of our videos were about 90%. Let me say it like
95%.
that. 95% of our videos were demonetized.
That's right.
And they just said it's not suitable for all advertisers. you know, and I'm like, okay, did you call out these advertisers and say, hey, would you like to advertise around Diamond and Silk, or did you make the decision for the advertisers? So it seemed to us that, you know, YouTube may have made decisions for their advertisers. So yes, we are being censored. We don't know why we're being censored, and you know, we think that it's encroaching upon our free speech. It's a social media platform. That's where people come together with creative ideas. And it don't say your ideas should be one-sided or your ideas should be liberal.
That's right.
So this is what's going on in our country. A lot of us, especially conservatives, are being censored.
See, here's the thing that I'm starting to see, and I'm glad that you guys are actually a part of this, because it's going to give you strength in the long run. I have a feeling. You know, they're saying now, they just report on CNN that Manafort and Trump were being electronically surveilled before the election and after the election. So they're doing things covertly. They do that. They demonetize you. I don't know whether they told you or they just did it.
They just did it.
They just did it. Okay. So I know that on Facebook they play games with the reach. Like one reach I'll have 1 million people. The next reach I have 30,000. But I have the same amount of viewers. You know, on YouTube. So on Facebook, I'm having several, 7,000 views a night. On Twitter, it'll get up to 2,000. On YouTube, it's 18. 18 viewers.
Yeah. We are most definitely being censored, and we can feel it. We can see it. We can feel it. We're not crazy.
Right.
And it's just the way of the world now. And you know what? We allowed it because we have certain groups monopolizing everything.
That's right.
And we never spoke out about it because we never paid it any attention. And maybe it's time to speak out about how these groups are joining forces, monopolizing everything.
Yeah, it's interesting how, when you have like St. Louis practically burning down tonight because of whether this police shooting was legit or not, and I have my own opinions about that, but whether it was legit or not, even if it wasn't, they have leftists involved in these wherever you go that are being bussed in, flown in, paid to come there, help start these riots. And I don't ever see anybody marching on the inner city saying, let's stop gang violence, let's clean this place up, let's not, have our kids doing drugs, and let's get the families to stay together.
You know, they don't care about that. It's always when a white officer shoot a black boy, then here come everybody. And then you don't hear no more until something else happened. But keep in mind now, I don't know the legalities of what happened, but I know that this happened in 2012. And what I would like to say is to the protesters, before you start attacking the police, do not blame all police for the actions of one police.
Right.
And when you walk up in the malls trying to shut the malls down or trying to shut streets down, those people didn't do anything to you. That mall didn't do anything to you. So to me, it should be peaceful protesting if you're going to protest, but do not infringe upon someone's space, someone's freedom to get to where they got to go because you mad about something that happened in 2012.
And what they don't even realize is that you're continuing to do the same thing, vote for the same system, and getting the same results. Being out in the street marching do not change laws.
Right.
You have to do what you're supposed to do in order to change laws, and that's get a seat at the table. Look at the so-called black leaders and these black organizations that won't even come and have a seat at the table so that we can see how we can help these black communities so that they won't even commit different crimes and so forth.
Yeah.
They're out in the streets right now because a lot of them live in poverty. A lot of them are angry right now. And a lot of them said that they're angry at the police, but what they should be angry at is themselves and a lot of these so-called black leaders that really isn't doing anything for the black community.
Yeah, well, guess what? Now you all have a seat at the table, because now you all represent, you represent at least 60-something million people in this country and how they feel when you think about it.
We hear it all the time. But you know what, though? I love being the mouthpiece for anybody that just believe that they want Americans to be first. Yes. They want America to be first. And when I look at the different things that's going on, I look at even the DACA dreamers. Yeah. Okay, to the DACA dreamers, but I'm also worried about the American dreamers. The ones that where bullets are flying past their heads, they don't know if they're going to be living by tomorrow to attain the American dream. Or the ones that went to jail, and all they gave them was 3 cots and a hot three hots and a cot
right.
and jail. But somebody can cross our borders illegally, and they give them a meal, but they don't throw them in jail.
They go home.
So I'm worried about Americans.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the American people.
That's right.
I'm worried, and it's time for people to start standing in line and waiting their turn.
And it's no matter the color of your skin, because it's not just black people that's in poverty. It's white people and Hispanics. There's a lot of people that is living in poverty. But as long as you stay out in the streets marching, burning down property that don't even belong to you, destroying the communities, it's not going to get you anywhere. You've been marching and saying power to the people for all of these years, and what have that gotten you? Back in the street marching.
And it's not just black people marching.
No.
It's white people out there marching too.
Right.
So what we're trying to tell people is, wait a minute. If you're going to do protests, do peaceful protests.
Right.
Bashing out somebody's windows, attacking the police, that stuff is uncalled for, because you know what? We forget about what happened, and we're now looking at you. This doesn't look good. And if those protesters feel like somebody is trying to hijack what they're protesting about, then maybe they shouldn't protest and find another way to protest instead of being out in the streets. Maybe they should find another way.
That's not protesting. That's rioting.
That's right.
And that's illegal.
But you know what? Here's the thing. I keep saying this, that the leftists in this country, first and foremost, it's communism has swept through any type of activist group. There's communism in there. The three women that started Black Lives Matter are Marxists. The people that started Antifa, or all the Antifa group people, they believe in a communist ideology. But here's what the left does that I don't even want to say the right, just free thinkers. You know, the rest of us are free thinkers. Then you have these controlled sheep. But what they do that everybody else doesn't do, like for instance, they march together. You have people with light skin and people with dark skin, but they're marching for the wrong reasons because they're being guided by a nefarious entity. They don't question the narrative, and they stand together. The rest of us, we're free thinkers. We should be looking at what is effective and what's needed and how we solve it, and we should be standing together for those reasons. And we don't need a politician to tell us how to fix things. Obviously, they don't know how to fix things because nothing's fixed.
Nothing's fixed.
No solutions.
Well, I always say that, I really wish we would stand together. I really do. I really do. We're now Republicans. We just became Republicans.
Yeah.
And I noticed that sometimes those on the right, they fold like paper. They give in. No.
Yeah.
If you believe in something and you strongly believe in it, then you should stand up for what you believe. Now, what I don't believe in is people should shut people's freedom of speech down. They shouldn't censor them. Let people have the free will just like everyone else have the free will. And do it in a respectable way. You can't do it going to beat up on people. Like you can't do it with black hoods on your head.
Right.
You can't do it with white hoods on your head.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? You can't do it
throwing urine on them.
But you can't do it like that. You're not going to be able to do it like that. But I wish that we, especially us on the right, will learn how to stand together. And I don't know why we even say right or left, because if you don't realize, there was a lot of Democrats on the left that voted for President Trump.
That's right.
See, that's why people are not watching these TV shows, because when you bash our president on national TV, some of those people, you think that they're liberals, but those people voted for President Trump and they respect him.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is going to have to cease in our country, or I'm telling you, people ratings are going to tank.
That's right. It's time for us to stop seeing color and see ourselves as Americans first.
That's right.
If we can do that, because it's united we stand, divided we fall. You can't eat a whole pie at one time, but you can slice it up. And that's what a lot of people are doing, is slicing and dicing and putting people in these particular categories, because they're easier to be controlled when they're in a smaller category. But if we all come together, united, no matter the color of our skin, guess what? We can all obtain the American dream instead of staying stuck in this American nightmare.
And we can all solve problems together. We can all solve them together.
Yeah. Listen, this is what's so crazy about this. You guys have said, first time I ever doing the show, first time I ever talked to you, when you said the exact same thing I say almost every night on this show. As I travel around and meet people in this country, everybody the majority of people, I would say, are saying the same thing that we're saying. It's just that we're not saying it together. It's as though we're, one person started a song and the other person started a song and nobody's singing in unison. We need to get in unison together. And I think that what you'll see is when they back the cameras up at these protests or these riots, you're looking at 50, maybe 100 people, 300 at the most. When you have, millions and millions of people that are saying the same thing that we're saying.
Right.
We need to get some way to stand together.
Stand together. That's right. So that we can solve problems and move our country forward. Listen, I love our president. I think he's doing a phenomenal job. I'm amazed that even all of the stuff that comes at him, he's able to still stand strong. And that's what we need. Is we have a strong leader now in the House that's not afraid. He don't waver. He don't back down. And that's what we voted for.
Exactly.
Yeah. Listen, I know you all have to go, and I hope you can come on here longer. If you ever want to rant on something, you can come on this show. I know you have your own stuff. You are more than welcome to come on here, and people love you. Just next time, you got to have your drinks with you. I feel like it's too stiff tonight. You got to have your drink. And if you come to New York next time, or if you ever come to New York, I have to take you to a place called Pio Pio, because I always see you guys. It looks like you have wine, but they have sangria here that is unbelievable.
Ooh, all right. That's Silk love all that kind of stuff.
There you go. There you go. She's licking her lips. Oh, my goodness. All right, listen, I love you all. I think you all done an amazing job. And on behalf of Americans, I'm a veteran, veterans across this country, black, white, women, men, I don't care what color they are or whatever. There's people that have seen you and said, man, those are real people, and I thank you all. I know it was a fluke or however you got up there, but the fact is you got there, and you didn't make the American people look stupid. You got up there and you make sense, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we love you more. Yeah, thank you for serving our country. Yeah. And that's why we stand up and salute that flag.
That's right, baby. Not take no knee. And keep in mind, you can go to our Facebook page, Diamond and Silk. Like our Facebook page, and we'll be coming on live at 9 o'clock tonight.
All right.
Yes,
Eastern Standard Time.
So be sure to visit us in a few moments.
I'll make sure I get off at 9 so the ratings can so I don't. My people just jump over there. So I was doing it at 9 o'clock, but I switched to 8 o'clock. Now I'm thankful that I did. So.
Oh, so wonderful. Thank you, sweetie.
All right, you guys. God bless you, and thank you for coming on.
God bless you, too. Love you.
Diamond and Silk, everybody. America's favorite surrogates. That's what you all are. You're America's surrogates, not just Trump's.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, God bless you.
God bless you, too.
I got to figure out how to turn this thing off now. There it is. All right. All right, folks, there you go. Man, that was awesome. And let me get this over here. You see, that is great. I was so excited to have them on here because they're not speaking from Hollywood. They're not speaking from an agenda. They're not speaking from a political stance. These are two women that are real. They're just real. And so that was a great interview, and hopefully we'll have them back. And don't forget, they said they come on at 9 o'clock. This is going to be the hardest part about this social media, the social media thing that we're doing, is that everybody wants to be on at 8, 9 o'clock. This is going to be the real determining factor, I think, in the long run, is who gets these spots. And I'm glad I switched over to 8 o'clock, and hopefully we can own this spot at 9 o'clock or at 8 o'clock. And if you didn't get to see that interview with Diamond and Silk, it'll be replayed. It's always on my Facebook and Twitter. It's stored on there, and you can come back and you can watch that later and tell everybody about it. Make sure that you're sharing this show. Make sure that you are telling everybody about this. If word of mouth is what grows social media, and so make sure you follow my page. You follow me on Twitter. Retweet it and share it. And let's go to the let's do a warning order. And then I'm going to bring my good buddy Norm on here in just a minute. I got to make sure. Let me see if she can do herself let me see here. Stand by 1 second. I got to see if I can bring her up for a Skype interview. Let's see here. Hold on a second. There she is. All right. So I'm going to do a warning order, and then I'm going to reach out to my good buddy Norma, and we're going to talk about something that she's been wanting to talk about for a while on here. And I thought, since we're going to have Diamond and Silk on, we'll have another true American on here, and then we're going to talk about an issue called Vibrant, and I'll let her talk about that. It's a communist movement that's trying its hardest to sweep across this country. Let's go to the warning order right now. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. All right, so here's what I want to talk about real quick. I'm going to set this up for when I bring Norma on in just a minute. I talked about this last week about the psychopathology that seems to be spreading across the left in this country. I don't want to say just the left. It's also the right, because people like Paul Ryan and all the rest of the Republican establishment, John McCain's, they're all I don't know, they live in their own little world and they believe their own nonsense, but the left is like eating it up. When I look at what happened last week with this professor at John Jay College and the president of that school, that is a law enforcement school. It's the John Jay School of Criminal Justice, and they allowed an Antifa, a professed Antifa member who's a communist who has been known to beat people up when they go and do these riots or call for the death of police. They allowed this individual to teach there, and only when it became known to the public did they get rid of him. Same thing in Harvard. They were going to have Bradley, a.k.a. Chelsea Manning, come up there and be a fellow, and when it hit the fan, they said, well, we were going to rescind that, but Chelsea Manning can still come and speak. That's a BS lie, because, yeah, I guess they'll let him come and speak, but the fact is they knew that a lot of people in America wouldn't like it. They just don't. They think that the rest of us are so out of touch that we're not going to say anything about it, or that it'll just stupidly skip right over it, because they all are suffering from some kind of mass delusions in this country on the left. And I'm not just talking about regular, people that are liberals. I'm talking about somebody wants to say hi here. He's poking around again. All right. So there, we're talking about the leaders of these universities, leftists, these people that they think that we're so out of touch that we're not going to realize that this stuff is happening, and that's what they want. They want the young people in this country to be indoctrinated by the Chelsea Mannings, by the Antifa leaders, by these individuals. They're just doing it covertly. Right? You through now? Can I let you down? Say goodnight. All right. Gosh, look at this dog. He just captures. He's like a cord killer. So, I was on Newsmax earlier today, and we were talking about Hillary Clinton, and she's considering contesting the 2016 election results. I thought Elizabeth Warren already did this. She's another criminal that shouldn't be in Washington, D.C. I don't understand. What is she going to get out of this? Elizabeth Warren raised, and this is what she's going to get, right? This is what's happening. Elizabeth Warren raised, I don't know, it was like $7 million to do a recount. Nothing came of it. She gets to keep that money pretty much. So Hillary Clinton's doing the same thing. She's freaking money hungry, and that's what they're going to do. But the left, as we saw yesterday at the Emmy Awards, they are punch drunk with their own narcissistic beliefs of how this country should be. They had yesterday, at the Emmy Awards, Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin, and I was blown away, Dolly Parton from the cast from 9 to 5. Now, Bill Tucker said that he thought Dolly Parton looked a little bit uncomfortable up there. Well, she should have. and she should have walked out of there. Dolly Parton is rich enough to not have to worry about Hollywood, and Dolly Parton is old enough to realize she's not going to live much longer. So now, as far as I'm concerned, Dolly Parton has sold out and is just another one of these communist sympathizers. And I will never buy another album of hers. I won't tell anybody to go to Dollywood. I hope that place folds. Unless she comes out and says she's ashamed of that, she doesn't stand for the communist stuff, and she doesn't stand with Jane Fonda, the communist sympathizer that got American soldiers killed, or American veterans, I don't know if they were soldiers or airmen, killed in Vietnam. Dolly Parton's dead to me. And I think Hollywood has defined themselves as the propaganda and spokespeople, along with ESPN and the mainstream media, of this communist left. And we're going to talk some more this week about the Red-Green Alliance, the Soviet Islam, which Millie sent me a video today I thought was great, and I'm going to I'll talk about that later this week. But this stuff is real. I keep talking about it every week, and we're going to talk about tomorrow's show. Let me just throw this out there for tomorrow's show. Where to go here? Hold on one second. I believe it's going to be tomorrow. I'll nail this down for sure, and then announce this tomorrow. Let me see here. Hold on one second here. Hold on. All right. Well, I'm going to have somebody on tomorrow. Let me just make sure that's going to be tomorrow before I even announce it. He's a former NFL player that feels strongly the same way that I'm talking about right now. I just need to confirm that he's going to be on tomorrow before I announce it. But a lot of people are still giving me blowback on this, as though communism isn't spreading, as though it's not real, as though the mainstream media is not trying to spread communists and isn't doctoring their narrative to fit this and to push stuff forward like a propaganda operative for communism. You know, I was watching last night on Newsmax. They have these documentaries that they'll air at night, and there was several documentaries in a row about dictators and about Hitler, and it is amazing. First, it's amazing how the white supremacists and the Aryan race, or Aryan Brotherhood, whatever you want to call them, the neo-Nazis of the World War II era, how closely they mimicked communism. Almost so much so that it really was kind of hard to differentiate, because ultimately they were going to lead to the same direction, which is a dictatorship, in which a certain core group of people get very, very wealthy, and other people are either eradicated or just controlled. It's always eye-opening to watch this stuff, but when you see stuff about Lenin and Stalin and Mao and Ho Chi Minh and Hitler all in the same night, you realize these people are cut from the same cloth. And ultimately, the people that are marching with Antifa, if they were able to get this their way and communism came into this country, listen, it's not going to be a good day. It's not going to be a good day for anybody. You think neo-Nazis hate Jewish people? Communists hate them too. You think neo-Nazis would restrict your freedom like Hitler did? Communists do that too. You think that neo-Nazis have killed a lot of people, which they have, about 9 million, 6 to 9 million in World War II. When you look at the Communist Party in the past 100 years, they've killed over 150 million people. So it was pretty amazing when I started looking at all this and the relationships they all have. And in the case of Islam, There was relationships between the Nazis and at that point it was the Palestinians mainly, and some other groups, and then they tried to utilize them to get into certain areas and do certain things. And then when Hitler was killed, the communists and our allies went in there, and they both took some of these groups and some of these people and used them as their own sources. And in the case of the Soviets, they ended up trying to basically grow together with Islam and use it as a subversion, as ways to go in and break down other countries so that they could move in there. And that's happened throughout history since World War II. So with that, let me see if Norma is up and about on. She is offline. So Norma, if you can sign into Skype, and then I will call you on Skype. It doesn't look like you're on at this moment. At least it says you're not. Oh, I got to accept you. There you go. All right, now you're online. Okay, so I'm going to call Norma, and we're going to talk to her about, speaking of communism, we're going to talk about this thing called Vibrant. So stand by. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. All right, folks. Let me get Norma all set up here, and let me get Norma plugged in there. Okay, Norma, say something now.
Hey, how are you?
We got you. So
all right.
Let me turn the light down on this thing here first. Hold on one second. Whoop! I just got ready. Hold on, stay there. You'll be right back. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I'm all jacked up now.
I need refreshed.
There you go. You're coming up. Hold on. Hold on. That was my bad. I hit the wrong button. Now I got to see. Okay, hold on. Hold on. There, where'd you go there? Skype. Boom, there you go. Okay. Now let me see if I can turn the light down on this thing. There it goes. I really got to get this thing fixed where I can do this. And
Lucy's trying to eat my cords. Here's my little girl.
There it goes. Okay, so little. She's not little. I've seen her. Okay. Oh. All right.
Saw her when she was little.
Okay, I think I got you. Do I have you on here now? There we go. We're all good now. Okay. Let me make sure I'm going to hit this right. Boom. Okay. Now we got Norma on here. Norma comes out of West Virginia. What town are you in West Virginia?
No, I am in Woodsfield, Ohio.
In Ohio, right next to West Virginia. What is it again, though?
Woodsfield, Ohio.
Woodsfield, Ohio, yes. And I went up and had the pleasure of meeting Norma and her husband, and we went down. What was the town we went to and talked? Was the same town?
We had the event here, and then we went down to Marietta, Ohio.
Marietta, that's correct. And that was with the 912 Project. And
yes.
I played that speech on here right after that. So when we were there, you were telling me about a thing called Vibrant, and I've been holding off on this, and I think tonight, especially because Diamond and Silk were on here, and I've been talking all last week about communism, and about the reality of what's going on in this country with things like what you're about to tell everybody, that it's actually here. So yeah. Tell everybody about how you discovered it and what it actually is.
Okay, I spent 52 years in Northeast Ohio, Lake and Ashtabula counties, and my oldest and dearest childhood friend called me up one day in 2012, and she says, Norma, you're not going to believe what they want to do now. And so she proceeded to tell me about this group that was coming around, had been other places under other names, but in our case, it was called Vibrant NEO for Northeast Ohio. And what they wanted to do was erase every county line of the 12 counties of Northeast Ohio and make it one region. And then ultimately erase every township, city, burg, village line within the region. And ultimately, the final acts to this would be to erase all property lines so that everything belonged to the collective. And it was to be governed by an unelected board of directors out of Washington, D.C. This was all financed by HUD, the Department of Transportation, and the EPA.
And was okay. So when you found out about this, it was up for a vote in Ohio.
Yeah, it was. But what I have found since I've talked to you, and actually my Congressman Bill Johnson kind of got me to dig a little bit deeper as to what all was happening up there. Unfortunately, Sharon passed away a year ago or 2 years ago. My friend that told me about this, and I worked together with her. So I can't go back and tap her as a resource, but I've been doing a lot more research, and it wasn't directly on the ballot itself. It was hidden within a sin tax. Now, what I found happened in Colorado, Denver put up a sin tax. The sin tax got voted down, so they were able to initiate, because of the need for funds, they were able to initiate a push for regionalization. So now they have a regional tax rather than a sin tax. Well, almost immediately, sin taxes started popping up in Ashtabula, in Youngstown, in Cleveland, in Painesville, in Lake County, several other counties. They started pushing these sin taxes all over the place. The idea was they wanted to replicate what happened in Denver. So I pulled the ballots off of the internet, and there isn't any mention there of Vibrant, but there are these sin taxes. Now, this is happening all over. This stuff has been popping up. We're talking Pennsylvania, Maryland. Right now, if anybody is interested and wants to lose their supper, all you have to do is type into a search engine, Vibrant Pittsburgh. They're all in. This is 32 counties that they have agreed to give up, that they have agreed to erase into a region. And the people don't even know what they voted for. They have no idea what they've agreed to.
It's interesting because I'd like to know, there's got to be ways that we could go after this. And see, I don't understand why the government, well, I have my reasons why, but in the government, we should be able to make subversive ideologies illegal. I don't believe that the First Amendment covers communism or covers the movement of fundamental Islam. And as far as religion goes, I don't think that when they come in and they start killing people and trying to alter the way that the government structure is with Sharia law, I think that should be outlawed. I'm not saying Islam should be outlawed, but Sharia law should definitely be outlawed. I think that things like this Vibrant, which is clearly a communistic movement, should be outlawed, that these things should not be able to be done. I'm sure there's great ideas that people have come up with that, you know, hey, let's get rid of county lines and property lines and let's all live together, and it's not communism, they're just fruitcakes. So maybe you wouldn't outlaw that, but when it comes to communism that wants to overthrow our Constitution, our way of life, I think it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember about 5 or 6 years ago, the UN came out and said we have too many appliances?
Yeah.
Every household has a stove and a refrigerator and an air conditioner, and that shouldn't be allowed?
Right.
Okay. In this Vibrant NEO, part of their proposal was all government housing with common food areas and common laundry areas and everything in common. Your apartment would consist of nothing but maybe a lounge area, a bathroom, and a bedroom. Mm-hmm. You would have no need for a kitchen because all of the food was going to be made available 24/7. Wouldn't it be great to eat out every night?
I'm not going to lie to you. That kind of sounds like a New York apartment anyway, but I understand what you're saying. That's kind of the way I live right now. But, yeah.
Yeah, but see, this is the beginning of all of this. Look at where New York is at mentally right now.
Right. Yeah.
You know. Now, let's go back to my Congressman, Bill Johnson. He was at the 912 project a few weeks ago, mm-hmm. and I had the opportunity to talk to him about it, and I knew that it wasn't going to go well if I did it in front of all those people because congressmen have huge egos. So I waited, and I cornered him at our county fair when he came around. I actually waited for him for 2 hours in the sun just to get my shot at him. And I tried to tell him about all of this, and he actually raised his voice to me. He said, "This is a conspiracy theory." And I said, "Bill," I said, "it's not a conspiracy theory when it's really a conspiracy." And I said, "This was all funded by HUD and the Department of Transportation and the EPA." And all of a sudden he looked at me and he called his assistant over, had the assistant give me his card, and he says, "If you can show me proof that HUD paid for this, I'll get this information directly to Dr. Carson." And I said, "You're on. I'll do it." And this is what got me digging so deep into it.
So what's happened since then?
Well, I've kind of wanted to talk to everybody. I've been trying to pick around at this thing mm-hmm. as best that I can. But it's really overwhelming. I have a lot of documents to read, to dig in and get the information that I need.
Well, we need to get people helping you.
Well, and this I think would be a great group project. I opened up a Facebook page called MC Group Connect. Oh, let me find it here. MC Group Connect Outreach. And I'll go ahead and I'll post the link to it when we're done here.
Yeah, post it in the Friends of Jonathan T. Gilliam, and then I'll grab it and I'll post it on my page as well.
Okay, that would be wonderful. Anyway, what I did was I put a pinned post, and on the pinned post I put 50 messages, mm-hmm. like replies. Anybody who is interested in researching a state, please go and do your research. I need the financial budget sheets for anything relating to sustainable housing. It would be the HUD section. And anything that mentions your sustainable communities, mm-hmm. Sustainable housing, the Sustainable Community Consortium, also ICLEI, which is the Sustainable Everythings. Anything like that shows that HUD, that they received money for the state for those particular things. That's what I want to get a hold of. And I want Bill Johnson to take all of this to Dr. Carson, not just Ohio, mm-hmm. but I have my Ohio project pretty much finished, but I would really like to get a whole register of what HUD alone, has spent on all of these communist projects all over the country. If you can find anything in the Department of Transportation, that would be perfect. If you can find anything in the EPA, that would be perfect. I'm going to have a lot of documents to read. I haven't gotten really far with it, but not having to do the searches is going to save me hours and hours and hours for each state.
Well, that's what we'll have to do. Anybody that wants to help out Norma, that's going to be on the Friends of Jonathan T. Gilliam page. I'll put it up on my page, and I'll tweet it out so everybody can go to that and help her out. All right, that sounds good.
That would be wonderful.
Okay. Well, let's see your babies again there real quick. Can we see them? Or what's your little one's name? Your youngest one?
Oh, Lucy?
Lucy,
Lucy
who's
is
now
70
grown.
pounds. Lucy is 70 pounds now.
She was like, what, 30 pounds when I saw her?
Yeah, about 25 or 30. She was pretty small. She's downstairs now harassing the cats.
Oh, man. All right. I love you, and thank you very much, Norma. I sure do appreciate it. We'll get
love you too. Bob says hello and hi to Rico.
Okay, you got it. And tell Bob I can't wait to get back out there and take another four-wheeler ride in the rain. That was fun.
Hey, he's got a mission for you.
Oh, uh-oh. Can you say it on here or no? All right, we'll talk about that offline. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care, hon.
All right,
thank
bye-bye.
you.
You got
love
it.
you. Bye.
Love you. Bye. All right, folks. Great American right there, Norma Brown, and she is pretty amazing. Her and Bob both. Her husband's a veteran, great man. And if you can help her out, we'll have that on the Friends of Jonathan T. Gilliam page, and you can go there and help Norma out to do the research. Listen, this is the way that these communists work. As we talked to Diamond and Lace earlier, you see that it happens with censoring. It happens with these protests and these riots that turn to riots. Let me turn Norma's name off here. And you see it in the way that they have these community programs. It's all fake lie. That's all it is. Anybody else want to call in before I jump off here off of Skype? Going once, going twice. All right, I'm going to get out of Skype. Hold on. Stand by, as Batman would say. All right, let me pull this foxnews.com back up here. I think that's good. I think I'll call it there. We'll call it a show there. And hopefully people will get a lot out of this and will help Norma out. Anybody else got anything? Let's see. All right. I'll be putting that link up here shortly. And so you all can see it. Thank you, Pam. And everybody else. And then let me see what YouTube is doing here. 27 people on YouTube. Woo! We're hot. All right, let's go to the Truth Zone. And kind of a fast show tonight, but I'm sweating, so I know it's a good one. Anybody else got anything? All right. By the way, another hurricane coming. Category 5 now. Hurricane Maria. Yeek. I know a couple Marias. Get ready. It's going right. I'll show you on foxnews.com. Which, by the way, foxnews.com ruined their website. I don't know who is responsible for redesigning their website. It was so easy to use before. Can you guys see that? This is Hurricane Maria. Same track. Right through the Dominican Republic. Right across San Juan, Puerto Rico. Whew. Man, that's bad. Pray for them. Let's go to the Truth Zone. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. Whoa. So this week, I don't know how long this is going on, but today, at least in New York City, they had this thing called, let me pull it up here. Stand by. Concordia. And it was right down here on 42nd Street, not far from where I live here in Manhattan. And it had, when you look it up online, Concordia, all the players that are involved with it, it just speaks to everything that we say every night on this program, folks. John Kerry, all the rest of the left, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Joe Biden, but also George Bush is there talking, and many other prominent Republicans and former cabinet members for George W. Bush. It's just another one of these things that they keep pushing out, folks, that have to do little with truly coming up with effective solutions for the problems in the world. It's just how they maintain power. It's how they rub elbows and make money for themselves. These people are the power elite. They are the kings and queens of yesteryear. Now what we have are political parties and the establishments that run them. You are just as much of an enslaved individual as they were 1,000 years ago. The difference is you're made to believe that you have a choice. We had a choice at one point, but these parties have become too powerful. They run and own too many things. They're above the law. And we've seen evidence of this recently. And again, as I say every night, if we don't start to unite, if we don't start to stand together and have dialogue, everybody keeps saying, every once in a while I get that one person that says, we've passed the time for dialogue. No, we haven't. And I'll tell you why. If we can't talk together and stand together, we can't fight together. We can't stand against an enemy together if we just can't stand together. So as you can see tonight, Diamond and Silk, Norma, these are people that are making, Norma Brown, that are making real differences because they get that shot and they see the reality of what's going on. And they set the example, they set the standard that the rest of us should be following. You don't have to pick up guns to defeat this. It may come to that, I don't know. But you don't have to pick up guns to defeat this subversive movement. They didn't subvert us with guns. I will keep saying the same thing, folks. I'll keep saying it. We must stand together. Do me a favor. Go pre-order this book. It's $12, not going to break your bank. We've got to get this book back up to where it was when it first came out. It comes out December 12th, but it went on pre-order about a little less than a month ago. You got to keep it up. Tell people about it. And remember, if you go to the GoFundMe page and donate $50, you'll get a signed book. Let's stand together. Keep supporting this show. And I'll see you tomorrow along with my good buddy Rico on The Experts. I'm Jonathan Gillum. The truth has arrived. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.